Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're digging into someone really quite fascinating from Maratha history. Rajmata Putalabai Bhosale.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not as famous as some others, but her role was incredibly significant.
Absolutely.
And this deep dive, well, it's all about uncovering those crucial bits from the book, Putalabai Bhosale,
Oh.
Devotion and Loyalty in Maratha History.
That's the plan.
Our mission for you is to get behind the sort of standard story, to see this queen whose influence wasn't really about politics or even being a mother in the usual way.
Right. It was more about her character, her devotion, social harmony, really.
Exactly. So, to kick us off then, for someone maybe hearing her name for the first time, who is Putalabai? Just the, essential details.
Okay, sure. So the key things. Rajmata Putalabai Bhosale. She was one of Shivaji Maharaj's wives. And a really important point is that she didn't have any children.
Okay, childless.
Yes. And her story ends quite dramatically. In 1680 CE, she committed sati after Shivaji Maharaj passed away. Those are the kind of headline facts.
Right, the core details. But like you said, that just scratches the surface, doesn't it?
It really does.
So tell us a bit more about her background, because this wasn't just any old royal marriage, was it? How did she end up being chosen?
No, definitely not just any marriage. Putalabai, she came from a Maratha noble family, probably from the Palkhed region, which is now in Nashik District in Maharashtra.
Okay.
And what's interesting historically is there's some debate about her caste. Some historians think she might have belonged to the respected Deshastha or Karhade Brahmin community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But here's the really telling part from the source material. Shivaji's mother, Jijabai, specifically chose her, and the reason given, her noble character and simplicity.
Wow. Noble character and simplicity. That's quite something.
It is, isn't it?
Because you often think, especially back then, royal marriages are about power, land, alliances, strategy.
Exactly. Military strategy, usually.
So what does it tell you about Shivaji's court, about the values there? That this kind of marriage based on character could happen. What was the real purpose then?
Well, I think it says a lot. It suggests a different set of priorities, perhaps alongside the usual ones. The research we're looking at makes it really clear. This marriage was primarily, and this is quoted, as per Jijabai's wish.
Jijabai's wish.
And she valued Putalabai's dignity, devotion, and nobility. That's what mattered to her in this case. But it did serve a purpose beyond just personal preference.
Oh, what kind of purpose?
A social and maybe religious one. It seems the marriage helped strengthen relations with Brahmin communities. And they were, hugely influential in administration, education.
Right, the intellectual and administrative backbone in many ways.
Precisely. So this union added a prestige and moral authority to the royal court. It boosted their social standing.
So less about armies, more about respect and influence within society.
Exactly. And the source sums it up so well. The marriage was not political in a military sense, but rather for social religious respect and household harmony.
Household harmony, too. That's interesting.
Yes, that internal dynamic seems important, too.
It really paints a different picture, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So knowing this was the foundation character, respect, harmony, what was her actual life like? In the palace, day to day, how did that character translate?
Well, from the accounts, her life reflected those core traits. She was known for devotion, discipline, and quiet strength. Just got on with things, it seems, but with real inner resolve.
Quiet strength, I like that.
Yeah. And here's something quite moving. Even though she was childless, the source says she played a motherly role in the royal palace.
Really? Like a maternal figure generally?
Seems so. A source of stability, perhaps. And importantly, she managed to maintain peaceful relations with other queens, including Soyarabai.
Which, given the potential for rivalries.
Exactly. That speaks volumes about her character, her dignity, and her ability to foster harmony, like we mentioned. And another key point, she was apparently loved and respected by Sambhaji Maharaj, even though she wasn't his biological mother.
That is remarkable. To build that kind of respect, that kind of affection, without the automatic status of being the heir's mother or having a big political faction.
It suggests her influence came purely from who she was, her conduct, her character.
It really does. Okay, so her life was one of quiet strength and devotion. But then things take this incredibly poignant and dramatic turn after Shivaji Maharaj dies in April 1680.
Yes, that's when her story culminates in that final act.
How did that unwavering character, that devotion, manifest itself then?
Well, after his death, Putalabai committed sati, self-immolation, described in the sources a mark of ultimate loyalty and sacrifice.
Right, and sati is. It's obviously incredibly difficult to discuss from a modern perspective.
Absolutely. It's vital, though, for understanding her story and legacy to grasp how it was likely perceived then, at that time.
Okay, so how was it seen?
The source indicates that her act was seen as deep devotion and royal duty by many. She essentially became a symbol of widowhood, loyalty, and sacrifice in Maratha history.
It's a symbol of loyalty. It's such a complex act to grapple with today, isn't it? Highly controversial by our standards.
Undeniably. And it's crucial we acknowledge that. We have to look at it through the lens of its time, without necessarily endorsing the act itself, but understanding its significance within that context.
So how does the source kind of summarize her position, considering everything, including the sati?
It puts it very clearly, I think. It says, Putalabai was not a political queen like Soyarabai or a motherly figure like Saibai, but she held a special place of respect and dignity in Shivaji Maharaja's life.
A special place, defined differently.
Exactly, and it continues. Her act of sati, though controversial by modern standards, was seen as a mark of unshakable royal loyalty at that time. Unshakable loyalty, that seems to be the key perception.
So if you boil it all down,
Yeah.
her legacy isn't about battlefield alliances or succession lines. It's really about that unwavering loyalty, isn't it? That profound devotion and a kind of moral grace.
I think that captures it perfectly. Her standing came from her character, the deep respect she earned within that complex royal household.
So wrapping this up, what does this story mean for you listening right now? Putalabai's life, it kind of challenges us, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It makes you think about how things like loyalty, duty, even sacrifice, how they're defined so differently depending on the time, the place, the culture.
Yeah, the definitions shift.
And it shows how someone who might seem like they're in a supporting role without the main political power can actually embody values so strongly that they echo down through centuries.
A different kind of power, perhaps. Moral authority.
Exactly. So here's something to think about. What really stands out to you about the different ways devotion and loyalty show up across history, especially when you hear a story like Putalabai's?